Why haven't we seen in the United States more success by a powerful coalition, essentially coming from the left, but not necessarily defined by what the conception, traditional conventional wisdom might be of the left, of labor, minorities, poor,
we have
black and white?
We have seen it.
What was it the last time you saw it?
A number of times. We saw it in the 60s. That's where the Great Society programs come from. We saw it in the 30s. That's where the New Deal comes from. And in fact, this is a battle that goes back to the origins of American history. You know, the original constitutional framework, the way Madison...
The author of the Great Society programs was Lyndon Johnson.
That's right. And the programs are not initiated by leaders. That's a serious misunderstanding.
Well, those programs were initiated primarily by people who actually, many of them who'd served with FDR.
See, that's a serious misinterpretation, I believe, of the way the political system works. Leaders may sign their names and they may push programs, but they do it because a popular constituency is compelling them to do it. That's the way changes take place. I mean, if there's a large-scale popular movement and there are pressures, there'll be somebody who'll say, I'm your leader.
But,
you know, I'll sign
but since you've made the Great Society...
And what happened in this, the programs that came out of the so-called Great Society were the result of popular ferment and activism and changes that were taking place, significant changes that were taking place in the 1960s, which very much democratized the society. And it led to these programs. Since then, there's been an enormous counterattack from business sectors trying to beat it back. And that's the course of history. You know, it's the same with the civil rights movement. It was the same with the labor movement.
But other than freedom of speech, what else do you think is part of what America represents? Yes.
Represents.
Well, is.
Good about American life. Well, there's a lot of things I like that are, I think, great about American life. For one thing, we have, compared with other societies, there's very little in the way of a kind of a caste system. Yeah. So people interact independently of social position.
Is there
wealth.
meritocracy?
There is, certainly in terms of policy formation. That's overwhelming. But we're talking in terms of personal interaction. Are you? Does it matter whether you're this is what you do or that's what you do? Yeah. Well, these interactions among people, informal interactions, are, in my view, much healthier in the United States than other societies that I know. Now, those are important facts about a culture. Freedom of speech is not just a matter of law. It's a matter of being internalized, you know, realizing, understanding that's my right and I'm going to defend it. That's important. And the same is true of other rights. Actually, the United States has become a much more civilized society since the 1960s, just in our recent lifetimes.
Because, do you think?
Well, because of popular activism. Let's take women's rights. Was that an issue 40 years ago? No. Environmental issues, did they exist 40 years ago? No. Let's take something like opposition to aggression and violence. Attitudes on that have changed enormously. I mean, when John F. Kennedy attacked South Vietnam, as he did in 1962, direct attack.
You mean his assassination of Zim or what?
No. When the U.S. Air Force...
First sent their supporters?
See, I mean, there was so little opposition to this that no one even knows what happened. But if you look back at the record, the historical and documentary record, it's not controversial. Yeah. In 1962, Kennedy sent the U.S. Air Force to start bombing South Vietnam. They did it in South Vietnamese planes with Vietnamese markings, but it was U.S. pilots and U.S. equipment, thin cover. He authorized the use of napalm. He started the crop destruction programs to keep food from the indigenous rebels. Wait a minute, he started driving
no, wait a minute, but I got...
Look, this is a war. Was there any protest?
No.
Okay, now that's changed.
Well, there may have been somebody who wasn't significant.
Look, I can tell you because I was directly involved in it.
Well, we've got to know you because of your opposition to Vietnam.
You couldn't get 4 people in a room to talk about it. Well,
I'm not arguing about this.
But this is important about the country. It was 4 or 5 years before a significant popular movement developed opposing an aggressive war against another country. Let's fast forward to today.
Right.
In this year, there were huge popular protests before the war was officially launched. That's a tremendous change in consciousness.
And why do you think that change took place? Because of the 60s? Because of, because as it breathes, it gets wider and stronger? And
the change took place because a lot of people worked very hard to make a change place. The same is true of civil rights, of women's rights, of environmental issues, and so on. That's the way changes happen. That's the same thing happened in Brazil. The popular movements developed that way, not by some leader saying,
I agree with you. I do agree with you.